What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Broadway Joel, the voice of Dominican boxing, and I want to talk about yesterday's fights. We had a fight of the year candidate, and I got my man Gritty with me. Gritty is one of the most I want to say important people on boxing Twitter, and I don't know if he's comfortable with me saying that, but I definitely feel like when he tweets something, it holds a little bit more weight than when another you know person from boxing Twitter says something. And just before I introduce her, I want to throw up his Twitter. He's definitely a worthy follow. I wouldn't be interviewing him if he wasn't a worthy follow. Gritty was here. Is his Twitter name. There you go. My man got 2,800 followers. Definitely a worthy follow. How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good, man. How you feeling today, bro?
Nah, I'm doing good, man. Especially after last night, man. Last night,
Man, great fight.
bro, like I haven't seen a fight like that in a while. Like that range of emotions I went through yesterday, from thinking like after the first four rounds, being like, "Oh, Klomatov might,
It
have
might
too
stop
much
him.
for this." Yeah, have might, and then it goes, "Oh, he was kind of fading a little bit," and you see Raymond Four kind of start taking over, and I was like, "All right, looks like Raymond Four about to get this stoppage," and then it kind of looked like Klomatov made an adjustment, and I was like, "Oh, he's gonna pull it off, probably gonna win a decision," to getting stopped in the last round. It was like,
Yeah, that was
bro,
crazy, bro. Up and down, back and forth.
I
That
I
was
couldn't I
I
couldn't
got that
believe it.
as fight of the year so far.
Hell yeah, hell, and it's gonna be tough to beat that one out, man. Just because
Hmm.
if you were watching that fight in the moment, man, there's no way as a boxing fan, whether you were rooting for whoever, there's no way you didn't have that up and down range of emotions watching that fight.
Yep, yep.
And the reason why I wanted to have you on originally is because, one, like I mentioned, I got a lot of respect for you. You not only are definitely one of the most important boxing voices on Twitter. You go to fights. I've seen you in Brooklyn. I've seen you in New Jersey. I've seen you in Las
Vegas.
Vegas. You know what I'm saying? I've seen you make moves, and there's fights that I didn't go to that you ended up going to and stuff like that. Really getting on the plane and flying out. So I definitely respect that. And same thing with the Twitter Spaces. You got a lot of respect there when you come on. People hold your word a little bit more heavy than someone else. But one of the things that I really liked yesterday, you said on a Twitter Space, was how happy you were that another American boxer was becoming successful. And you really don't hear American boxing fans necessarily point that out. They just say, "Oh, my man is nice," or "This guy, they like that guy," but they don't necessarily come at it from a patriotic perspective. I wanted you to, if you wanted to elaborate on that.
Yeah, man. I just think that in this country, boxing is fading. I think it's fading. I'm from Detroit, and growing up, we had, you know, we wanted to play basketball or box, either or. That was like our sports. Me, for instance, like in Detroit, it was a thing about everyone wanted to make it to Crump. Like you really, that was your goal. I don't care what your boxing gym in your neighborhood was. Eventually, you wanted to get to Crump. You'll have a lot of guys in school lying about, yeah, I fought I trained at Crump for two. Like, nah, no, you didn't. Like that was like a lie. But it was just like the glamorous, cool thing, in boxing and everything. And now you got, the kids coming up now. I can't talk to my middle school kids about boxing that much, like, 'cause they're not really into it. Like their friends not really into it. So I just think for us to change that trajectory, we gotta start getting these guys in these gyms and training and working hard, like a Raymond Ford, who, you know, still kind of under the radar, but he worked hard. Now he's a champion. You never know who'll see that, like, oh, I can do that too. So I just think in America as a whole, just it's important for boxing, for the sport of boxing, that we have people here and we producing people here out of this country, because it is an important piece of boxing. So I'm just happy to see anytime we do get someone, a new champion. But you know how I am. I'm patriotic about American boxing.
No, I definitely see that. And that's why I wanted to have you on, But in general, do you think Americans are less patriotic? Because even like you look at it like I know you don't watch baseball in the World Baseball Classic, like the
I watch
Puerto
baseball.
Rican. Yeah, all right. The World Baseball Classic, like the Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, we when that comes around every 4 years, we're excited for it. We packing out the house, the whole family coming over. I really and I may be wrong. Who knows? I just don't really see Americans necessarily being like, all right, I'm not a big baseball fan, but this is the World Baseball Classic. I'm a root for my country. Same things I like when let's say when Mayweather, who's the biggest superstar back in his day, it
Hmm.
wasn't like when you went to his fights, there was a bunch of American flags. You know what I'm saying? In general, are
Yeah,
Americans just less patriotic than people from other countries?
yeah, absolutely. I think it's a lot of divide, and that just comes with the history of the country. It's a lot of divide all the time. Like, I mean, you check like if you went to Wilder Fury one in Vegas, it was a lot of Americans in there rooting for Fury, and it just wouldn't fly the other way around. If Fury and Wilder was in the UK, you wouldn't see a bunch of guys from the UK rooting for Wilder. It just wouldn't happen. So I do think that America is less patriotic than other countries. I mean, even in our Olympics, you have I don't know, think about when the Olympic games come around. That might be the only time where we kind of root for our country. Other than that, you don't really see it.
Yeah, even in soccer, like I know Americans who they'll be like, "Yeah, my team is Brazil." I'm like, uh, "Cool, yeah, because they got this player. Or my team is Argentina. They got that player." And I'm like, "Yeah, but
Hmm.
bro, I thought the point of the World Cup was that you root for your country. Like, yeah, that's the player that plays on your team, and obviously you love that player. Maybe you got his jersey, maybe you watch all his games, but right now he's playing for another country, and
Yeah,
it just seems like that is something weird in that we have here in America.
yeah. I think it's like I said. I think it's just a divide. It's the divide. Like we divide in so many different ways because guys might be from New York and you only like New York fighters. Or you might be from New York, or you might be from Brooklyn and you don't like other New York fighters. You like all the guys in Brooklyn. You know how that is. It's just
Yeah, yeah.
we grew up divided, and I think like in all ways, either we're gonna divide by affiliation, by race. We just divide in so many different ways.
That's a good point. And circling back to boxing, there's 10 boxing champions. There's 10 American boxing champions, excuse me. You got Jamal Charlo, who I don't know what's his status, but he still has the belt. You still got to call him a champion. You got Jermell Charlo, who's gotten stripped
It
just
just got
about.
stripped. Yep.
Yeah, but he's still the lineal champion at 154.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna count him anyways. I think he still has the WBA. I could be wrong.
No.
No, he got stripped of the
Yeah,
WBA as well.
they just stripped him for the WBA as well.
Oh, okay, see, that's news to me. So,
I'm
but
not. I
I'll
don't
still.
know if they announced it yet, but yeah, he's getting stripped.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll still give it to him because he's still the lineal champion, and his one loss. Well, not his one loss. His second loss was at 168. So I'll still give him a champion. You got Bud, who's undisputed. Well, was undisputed until he got stripped by the IBF. You got Boots. You got Tio, Haney, Shakur, uh, Tank, Roach, Foster. So that's 11. I miscounted. So that's 11. 11 champions. That seems low, although Bud.
I feel like we got more than that, but I can't think off the top of my head right now.
No, that's it. I looked it up right before this, right before we hopped on. That's we have 11 champions.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just it seemed a lot like the same way you thought it would be more. I thought it would be more too. Although to be fair, Bud has multiple belts, and you know what I'm saying. So that
Hmm.
counts. That counts for something. It's not like he's just one champion. Uh, but what do you think promoters could do to appeal to Americans from a nationalistic perspective, since that seems to be something that what they do with Mexicans and Puerto Ricans and all people from other countries, it seems like they promote to the nationalism. Do you think there's a way to reach that to the American public?
I'm not sure. It's something I think about from time to time. I don't know what the solutions would be. I kind of think it goes back to what I'm saying. Like I think the general public here just not is interested in boxing anymore, and so I'm not really sure. Like you had guys like Mayweather. Mayweather and his team, they knew how to put him out to the American public, whether it was going to do a fight at WWE with Big Show or like it was just they got creative in the ways they put themselves out to the public. And I just think that we still dealing with an old format in boxing here, and it's time to catch up. It's time to do something new, something spicy. It's always a lot of talk about what's going on out there in Saudi, and I like their marketing and everything that they do. Like even I don't know if you saw the promo they've been doing for Ngannou and Joshua fight coming up next
Yeah,
week.
nice posters. Yeah, nice
Yeah,
posters, nice
posters,
videos. Yeah.
video promos, uh, the press conference they actually put. They put real effort into it, and I just don't think we do that same effort here. We just don't.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do. I feel like a lot of the people who run boxing are older people, and they kind of have this cookie cutter way of promoting,
Hmm.
and they don't know how to get creative. They don't know this new landscape. Like a lot, one of the things I hate is like, oh yeah, just Dominicans don't sell box. They don't sell tickets, and I'm like, anytime a manager, promoter, or advisor, whoever tells me that, and I'm like, oh yeah, because I had this fighter, or I have this fighter currently, and I'm like, all right, so what are you doing to promote to the Dominican market? And they
Right.
go, oh, but I don't have to do that with the Puerto Ricans. They just buy tickets. And I'm like, well, not everything is going to be so cookie cutter like that. If that's the
Hmm.
case, only sign Puerto Ricans and Mexicans and,
Right.
and, and, and black fighters who sell good, who are proven to be ticket sellers. I'm
Hmm.
like, if that's the case, you got to get a little bit creative.
Yeah.
And I do agree that in the general American public, a good example is HBO and Showtime not showing boxing no more. It's like,
That
it
was a big
seems
blow.
like the appetite for boxing from the general public is low. Is low, especially since a lot of times we don't get the fights we want, the big
Hmm.
fights. I'll say that.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with that. And I think even HBO was such a big blow to American boxing or just boxing in general, but definitely American boxing. But I don't know, man. I'm hoping that I'm optimistic for the future. I think over the last couple of years, it's starting to go back up a little bit. You got some stars, you got the Tanks and the Shakurs and all these guys who I have younger guys ask me about, like younger meaning like 21 year, around that age, 21, 20 to 25. Those guys are starting to ask me about certain fighters. So that's a positive sign. But those guys are kind of getting older. So who's the new crop and how are y'all gonna move them and get them visible to the public?
I'll also think that one of the things that affects boxing is, and maybe my mom used to let me stay up late. I don't remember, but like I don't remember fights starting at 11 p.m. and 12 a.m. I remember watching fights when I was 10 years old. And again, I knew that the fights were at night, but I don't remember me being going to bed at
At
1:30
1
after.
a.m., yeah.
It's like, how is a 12-year-old gonna become a boxing fan? Like, you looking at him like, oh, he's just 12 years old. Yeah, that 12-year-old in 8 years is gonna be 20, probably
Hmm.
having enough money to buy a pay-per-view, or
Yeah,
maybe
but
even
go to pull up to a fight.
want to go to a fight. Yeah. So it's like, I feel like that's one thing they're short-sighted on as far as the timing as to when they put on fights.
And that
Is
might
one
can
of
be a thing about the business and the viewership and everything like that. Maybe they don't have certain time slots available because even if you look at, say for instance, Top Rank might have a fight going on, they might have to delay the main event until after the basketball game or this football game come off or something like that. I'm not sure it
I,
was like that back in the day. Like it was like, hey, this is what time boxing's coming on, and you had a nice little group of people watching boxing. Like you didn't have to take a sidestep because UFC got John Jones fighting, so I'm gonna delay my main event a whole hour or something like that. Like you didn't have those problems.
A good example is circling back to what we was mentioning earlier. Showtime and HBO, that was like their sports bread and butter. Like when it came to sports on those two channels, they were big on boxing. Like if you mention sports and you mention that network, the first thing that's coming to your head is boxing.
Boxing.
So they didn't have to compete with, the NCAA game going into double overtime. They just, the fight started at 8, it started at 8, started at 9, it started at 9. It's like,
Yeah, yeah, but the glory days. Hopefully, like I said,
exactly.
hopefully we can restore a lot of interest and start pushing some of these younger fighters. And it's not just America; it's just boxing in general.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know me, I do my part as a fan. I just feel like I'm a fan, even when you say I don't think I'm an important voice on Twitter or anything like that. I just think I'm a super fan of boxing. I love boxing since I was a kid, and I just like to promote it the right way.
Hey, listen, I was the one who gave you that tag. I don't want you to think like I don't want people thinking like you told me to say that, or I'm saying that just from I guess from a journalistic perspective, seeing how much your tweets weigh as opposed to somebody else's, and again, me knowing you really talk to certain people, me knowing that you really pull up to fights and you've really met certain people, and there's things you've told me behind the scenes, so I'm like, okay, this ain't just a regular fan. And I think you can agree with that. You're not just a regular,
Yeah,
oh
for
yeah,
sure, for sure.
I just show up to fights and go home. That I would I don't think you would classify yourself as that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man. Got to stay tapped in.
Nah, for sure. On your Twitter, and I'll pull it back up in case anybody else wants to follow you. It says disgusted American boxing fan. And I know we kind of been discussing as the problems we have in boxing. What why did you choose why did you choose to say that, put that on your title?
That's just partly me talking my mess, man. You know how I am. I've been going through a roller coaster of emotions this year, so I'm just displaying what current emotion I'm in. I need to change that because after last night, man, I'm back. I'm back optimistic about it, man. After last night, but I've been disgruntled fan, disgusted, embarrassed American boxing fan. Like I've been just a range of emotions that going on right now. And what made me tweet that was actually the Canelo not passing that torch to Benavidez. So that's what got me disgusted right now.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Because
And
that's
I was on
important for boxing. That's one of the things that's important for boxing is building the next stars. But when you got the biggest stars, not giving the next guys up a chance, how do we get the next stars?
no, and what pisses me off that fight particular is, and I've been somebody who's defended Canelo's selection of opponents. I feel like sometimes he gets a little bit too much criticism.
Hmm.
He's I'm not saying he's like we can't criticize him. I feel like sometimes people overdo it, but there's no way I can justifiably say, oh, he's earned the right to not fight him. Not only is the David Benavidez fight probably the fight that makes the most money, with the exception of Crawford. I'm not sure which fight makes more money, but I think there's a debatable. But it's also the most
I would guess
competitive.
Benavidez. I
That's
would
fine.
guess
I'm not even
Benavidez.
going to argue it. You
I think that would
honestly,
be
that helps my
major.
point. That helps my point. That helps my point. So it's the biggest financial fight you got out there.
Hmm.
He's your mandatory, and it's it's looked at as the number one guy versus the number two guy
Yep. In your weight class.
in your weight class. It's not like you bringing him up. It's not like you bringing him down in your weight class. And the fight can't get made. You signed to PBC, and you can't fight that guy.
Yeah.
The guy said he's willing to fight for $5 million. That's literally half of what Caleb got when he fought you.
I would call his
So it ain't
bluff.
the money. Don't tell me it's the money.
Yeah, I would call his bluff. You gonna take 5 million? Let's go, sign it.
Let's go. five
You gonna
million.
follow all of my rules. You know how Canelo do. He you want to fight Canelo, you want to fight the man, and that's what Benavidez is saying. He's saying, hey, I'm willing to do whatever to fight him. I just want to
Yeah.
fight. He said it's not about the money. because after that fight, the money gonna come. He understand the bigger picture. It's saying, okay, I know this guy's a star. He he he's got to where he's at right now on his own. He got the right to fight whoever he want to fight. But I've been the number one guy here for a while. He keep getting skipped over, and I just
Yeah.
feel like if Canelo, you say you love the sport of boxing, and you want the sport of boxing to stay healthy, that's pretty much the best thing you can do for boxing is fight the next guy up. Now, if you beat Benavidez, in my opinion, it becomes your best win. It kind of puts you in a different type of ranking because I don't know where you would rank Canelo all time, but he's not very high on my list. But if he was to beat Benavidez at this stage of his career, that would be like one of the best wins of the last, I don't know, 25 years.
No, I listen. You beating an undefeated guy in his prime. Uh, Mike Tyson talks about this guy on his podcast. Stephen A. Smith talks about him on First Take. Like it's a marketing dream, and it's gonna do well for your resume, and it
Mm,
fulfills a mandatory. It checks all the boxes.
yeah.
There is no, oh, I got a mandatory, so that's why I'm not going to fight him. There is no, well, he don't sell tickets. He's nobody known. There is no, excuse me. There is no, oh, this fight's not going to be entertaining. Nobody wants to see this fight. That guy's ranked number 4 in the division. He's the best guy that's going to make you the most money, and you're the one you're going to get the most credit for, and he's your mandatory.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what are we doing, Canelo?
Yeah.
And again, I picked Canelo to win that fight. If that fight got made today, I would pick Canelo to win. But
Mm-hmm.
I can't ignore that type of ducking. I
Yeah.
can't ignore that. That's like too much for me. Like if he was like, nah, I'm not gonna fight him because I'm gonna fight. Let's just say he did some crazy shit and fought Jake Paul for $100 million. I wouldn't like it, but I could understand.
But you understand that bad.
I can understand it. I'm not going to listen. I'm going to come on this channel and scream and yell and say how I'm mad at it, but I'm not going to sit here and say I don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
What he's doing now, I don't understand. You're going to fight Munguia?
Yeah.
Like, who is Munguia?
And I'll say I've been saying it. I'm not mad at the Munguia fight. I'm really not. I'm mad at the Munguia fight only because you still skipping Benavidez. Like you just said not long ago that you'll never fight a Mexican. Then you said, okay, remember he came out a few weeks ago and said, oh yeah, the next guy I'm fighting is an American. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, I don't know. It's like they keep moving the goalposts. It was a few years ago, it was, oh, Benavidez, he didn't beat anyone. He fought one champion, Anthony Durrell. He go out here, beat Caleb Plant, stop Demetrius Andrade, who another guy who's been wanting to fight Canelo for a long time. So I feel like he did everything he could do to secure a fight.
Earn the fight, and that's what Canelo was saying. Like, earn the fight. Why y'all not fighting each other? Y'all all want to fight me, but nobody fighting each other. Get out of here. So he goes, beats 2 guys, which falls under the category of fighting each other. And now you on some ducking shit. Shit is weird. And I'll circle back to
the worst thing before you make that point. Worst thing about it to me is I can see if he wasn't the champion, but you're the undisputed champion. You kind of holding all the belts, bro. You know what I'm saying? So how do any other guy who's trying to get a crack at being a titleist, you don't want to fight him? So you basically saying, hey, you're never going to be a titleist in this division as long as I'm here.
Yeah, it's wrong, and the WBC, I'm just flabbergasted.
Another thing wrong with boxing, but we'll go into that another day.
Yeah,
another
I'm
big
just flabbergasted
thing,
how
man.
they get away with this shit, man. This shit is like they don't even be trying to play it off. It's just like, and they're gonna come up with the excuse, no, well, Benavidez let us know that he's gonna fight Vosdick, and that's the reason we didn't enforce it. And it's like, bro, you know damn well
Shit, but what
Yeah,
about the other 3 years? Like,
exactly, exactly. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. But I'll circle back to something you said that you're not mad at the Munguia fight. I'll say why I'm mad at the Munguia fight. You told Benavidez, yo, go fight somebody, man. Why don't you go earn it? Why don't you go fight your peers? And Munguia has done nothing but duck his peers.
hmm
Not only did he duck Carlos Adames, who a good fighter, I wouldn't
yeah, he
say
ducked
he's
Adames, he ducked Charlo.
duck Charlo, duck Janibek, and then
hmm
duck Andrade, somebody who Benavidez stopped.
Yeah, yep,
And that's the guy you're gonna give a paycheck to.
yep.
So it's like that's where it really frustrates me because and that boxing is broken in that sense. Like as far as who deserves a fight, when they fight, how often they fight, that's a problem. And the fact that this guy did nothing but duck, 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 and for easy competition goes life and death with Sergey Deverenchenko, which was Sergey Deverenchenko's first fight at 168. And the knockdown is at the last round is what saves him from fucking getting a draw, losing the fight.
hmm
And he gets that fight, he gets the Canelo fight. Like, come on, man, come on. That's just so disappointing. Just
Yeah,
so
man,
disappointing.
highly disappointed, man. It's just a
Yeah.
bad blow. That was a bad blow for boxing, man.
Yeah. I honestly believe that if this fight don't happen by September, the long-term health of the sport is in danger. I
hmm
genuinely believe that. I genuinely believe that
And
because
that's one
Canelo.
of the things about the fight last year. I'm telling everybody that a lot of people been bashing Earl Spence, but it's like, bro, he was the main part in making this fight happen, making that Terrence Crawford and Earl Spence fight happen. Imagine if we never got that fight. That'd be another fight that we just never got.
Yeah, and then we stuck arguing. Nah, Spence would have won. Nah, Crawford would have
hmm
won. And it's like,
And now we're
what?
dealing with the
Like,
Tank and Tank and Devin situation. Is the fight gonna happen or not? Or y'all just want to go back and forth on Twitter and talk about what happened in sparring and all this other shit?
leak sparring footage.
Yeah, like from when they both
Edited
was young men.
sparring
Like,
footage. Got that.
yeah, and put out from a 30-minute sparring session, you release a minute and a half highlight reel.
Yeah, it's like I mean, I'm sure if Devin Haney only showed a minute and a half of what he did good, it'll look crazy. So
hmm
it's like I just think that was wild.
Which he
But
also did against your brother Hector Garcia. When
oh
he put
yeah,
the little
yeah, he did
jab
that.
fest
He
out, you
did
know what I'm
do
saying?
that.
After he said he beat the shit out of Hector in sparring, then he released an edited sparring video of him basically just jabbing him to death. Like,
Yeah,
bro,
it
like,
was
let's lead this sparring. Like, we don't care about the sparring. Like, can we get some fights?
nah, and I, it's funny. Hector had told me about. He said that they sparred twice. He said that the first time they sparred, it was kind of like even, and then the second time they sparred, he said that Hector got. He said Hector. He said he got the better of him. I mean, that's his account. I wasn't there, but my point is, when it came out, it kind of came out basic. I don't know as far as Hector getting the better of him. It came out like how he said it was a pretty even sparring match. Yeah,
hmm
if you're scoring the round, which would be weird in the sparring match, I guess you would give it to Haney, but all he really did was land a jab.
Yeah, yeah.
That was weird too. That was
It
weird
wasn't
too.
like a thing like how he said, I beat the shit out of him and he trashed and it's that and the third. It's like, nah, it just was working.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing about sparring, because you're a real boxing fan, it's like not all the time in sparring you trying to get the better of somebody. Sometimes you in sparring because you want to work on your head movement, you want to work on your
hmm
jab. So yeah, you
I'm
may be
going
getting
I'm
touched up.
focusing on defense right now.
Yeah, I'm getting touched up because these 2-3 things that I'm not good at that I'm working, and you not really punching like that for me to really have to keep my defense or like on point. So I'm working on
hmm
it. And same thing, you might be working on something too.
Yeah, imagine you
Yeah.
walk into a gym and your coach telling you, we focus on counter punching today, and
Mhm.
then 2 months later, a tape release of you getting punched on by this dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're like, damn, well, I was working on counter. I wasn't even trying to. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just, and that's what these younger, I'm not gonna sound like an old man on here, but the younger generation, they like that stuff, man. They like as they call it, clout. So,
Yeah. I actually want to touch on the younger generation. on a positive note, somebody me and you are both very high on, Abdullah Mason. Talk about an American
Oh
star.
yeah,
You know, so, like I titled this is Raymond Ford the next American star. You know, and we could circle back to that later if you want, but I think Abdullah Mason, he has that potential to be that next American star, to be
yeah.
that next American pay-per-view star, because he is very, very talented. You tell me, what do you see in him?
I've been saying this for a while. He give me them flashes of like a young pretty boy, but
Mhm.
he doesn't have the charisma of a Floyd Mayweather. I don't know if
True.
that's something he can work on. He's a very humble guy. If you ever meet him, like his whole family, they're a humble group of men. He's soft spoken, like he don't say much. He's a man of few words. But in that ring, he's a beast, man. Like he got all the tools. He got speed, quickness, power. He move well. I've been very high on that kid, man. You too.
Yeah, no, and the scary part about Abdullah is he's like 19. How old is he?
Yeah, he's 19. He just turned 19 not long ago.
Yeah, 19 years old. So he's not even in his man strength, and he's
Mm-hmm.
scoring very, very impressive knockouts.
Knockouts.
And he has nothing but time to develop. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
very high on Abdullah Mason, and
Yeah, I
he's
don't think he have a
definitely
ceiling, bro. Like I just don't think he got a ceiling on him. Like he do everything right. He don't party, he don't drink, none of that. Like he he's always in the gym. They always in the gym. And I don't know if I probably could say that. Like I could say it on here, but like he's for instance, like I heard about a good sparring that he had with Dante Benjamin. Like he sparred bigger guys, you know what I'm saying? Like Dante Benjamin fight at 175, I think. Like the dude is a beast, man. And he want greatness. Like he wanna be great. So that's gonna be
and
good for him.
he's in the right division. He's 19 at 135. By the time, let's say he's 25, 26, 27, he probably already at 147 at that moment. We both know that's probably the second most glamorous division after heavyweight. So this
Hmm.
guy, from a weight class perspective, from a talent perspective, from an age perspective, has the brightest future of any prospect I can see, to be honest with you. Like
Yeah,
if I had to bet my bank account money all on one prospect, I think I may bet it on Abdullah Mason. I'll be
yeah,
honest with
yeah. Same here, man. Same
you.
here.
Mhm.
You know
Any
some
other
other
American?
prospects I like.
What's up?
American prospects?
Yeah,
I'm
any
sorry.
other American prospect that you like?
As far as American prospects, hmm. As we've been talking lately, it's a guy that I wasn't very high on. That's from your neck of the woods that everyone has been trying to convince me, and I'm starting to like him a little more. Shushu, I'm starting to like Shushu a little more. Uh, I like Angeletti. I
Gillette's
like
good.
Angeletti over there with PBC. Uh, who else is it? It's a few guys I really really like. I like he had a tough fight on Pro Box last Wednesday. Najee. Uh,
Najee Lopez. Yes,
Najee
yes. The
Lopez. Yep, yep. He's Puerto
175,
Rican, but
right?
yep, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yep, at 175. I think that's one of the biggest things that I've been wanting in far as American boxing. Some light heavy guys, some cruiserweights who can potentially move up to heavyweight because that's a division that we probably going to completely lose. So,
Yeah. Honestly, American boxing for the last I want to say 20 years, anything above 54 has been non-existent with the exception of maybe Andre Ward, Deontay Wilder.
hmm
I mean, I really can't think of anybody who was, had significant success. There's been fighters who's had a success here and there, but
yeah,
significant success last 20 years above 54, there's not many, and not
yeah,
many Americans. Like,
nah.
yeah,
Those
and
type of guys are going to play other sports.
yeah, part of that is they playing in the NBA, they playing in in the NFL. You
Hmm
know what I'm saying? You're not gonna convince me that
They didn't make it
somebody.
there, and so now they bouncing at some club or something like that. Like. You know, that's what the American. That's we just not focused on boxing. That go back to what I was saying earlier.
Honestly, I think that that particularly New York, but it could go across all of America. But the reason I bring up New York is because the New York prison system produced Mike Tyson, literally one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. I
Hmm.
feel like I feel like we're really missing the mark in terms of rehabilitating these kids who potentially are who are just naturally aggressive, naturally want to fight, have no discipline. Like, yo, if you already got them in the prison system, why not teach them how to box? And that right there could save a kid's life. Like, you imagine if boxing never got into Mike Tyson's life, what he would have done with his life, you know?
Yeah, it'd be crazy.
It'd be wild. Like, there's no way he would have made
It
it
saved
past
his
30
life.
years old.
Yeah, it saved his life.
So how many more Mike Tysons are being lost in the system just because there isn't a customado there who could pull a kid by the ear and go, hey man, come with me and you're gonna
Well,
train
it's
here and you're
deeper
gonna
than
be
that.
the
Like it's just the communities, and we don't. It's an American thing. Like America don't have as many. It's not community based like it used to be. You know,
that's unfortunate.
like I said, when I was growing up, everyone wanted to box or play basketball. Like I just happened to be the guy that was into boxing, but my grandfather was a pro boxer. You know, so that's where I got my love and interest from. But other guys they wanted to fight. Everybody wanted to box. We used to put gloves on. You know what I'm saying? Like we had backyard sparring sessions frequently, like all the time.
Yeah,
That don't happen no
I
more. You know what
mean,
I'm saying? Just it's a different world. You know, like it's just a different world. And with that changing, like we don't have the teachers either anymore. Because you know, like I said, I'm from Detroit. We had a whole bunch of older guys who wanted to be Manny Stewart. Like you ain't Manny Stewart. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, but everyone wanted to mold themselves after Manny Stewart. Like you know what I'm saying? So, but we don't have those type of guys anymore. We don't have the funding for gyms. You know, no more gyms is in these communities and everything like that. So, like I'm in Dallas. I live in Dallas. We got a few gyms around. A few guys like doing their thing, like keeping the gym open and everything like that. But it's just not prevalent like it used to be.
yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, Emmanuel Stewart did produce a protege in Javon Sugar Hill, but he seems to be more focused on the pros as opposed to developing the
Hmm.
younger guy. Which I'm not knocking the man hustle for
But he got a bunch of other guys he taught that's like they. I know you probably. I don't know if you seen like some of the work that Crunk been doing lately
Oh no, I
in
have not.
partnership up with they just had a card with a few Crunk fighters on the zone. You know, Salita got a new deal with the zone where they're doing some fight. They're gonna start doing more fights out of Detroit. So and that went good. That went good. They had a good successful first outing. It was a Tuesday night fight.
Yeah, man.
But you know that's part of the whole trying to bring back boxing to America. Which I'm
Yeah,
not going to say boxing is dead because boxing still generate money. I just think that we got to change it up a little bit. You know, we just got to get younger
dying.
minds like yourself, like people that's really interested in boxing in any way. Like we need, like we complain about it a lot now. I would say that boxing is a heavily like it's a lot of gatekeeping in boxing on every level. Like it's gatekeeping, and if you want to be a media member, it's gatekeeping if you want to be a promoter, whatever. Like it's always a lot of gatekeeping in politics and boxing. So I think until we start breaking down some of those structures, it really just can't change. We talk about anytime we talking about a fight, sometimes we get off on a rant about one of the sanctioning bodies and they bullshit, you know what I'm saying? Like it's always something, bro. Like it's so many things wrong in boxing that it's hard to focus on what's right in boxing sometimes.
No. Well, that part, I think the bad things at times outweigh the good things, and I think that's why people like hardcore boxing fans we're caught up sometimes trying to defend the sport at times to our casual friends, but our casual friends don't want to understand that. Let's say Shakur, oh, he hasn't really fought top competition. Tank hasn't really fought the top competition. They both got a belt in the same division. Why they just don't fight? Oh, the thing is that the split. Oh, one is on ESPN, one is on PBC, and like some fans don't want to hear that shit. Yo, bro, I want to see the fight, man. Can I make that happen? No, the business of this or that, and it's like, and I was on a space the other day, and I was trying to explain that, like how the business of boxing gets so in the way of it being a sport that it drives people away, and the people in the space just wasn't getting what I was trying to say. I'm like, yo, bro, like it's just too much. I understand this is a business, but there needs to be a balance between caring about what the fans want, particularly the loyal fans like me and you who will pop out to an event. You know what I'm saying? Who will take money out of our pocket, who actually buy the pay-per-view instead of streaming it.
I think one thing is, not to cut you off, bro, my bad. But I think they don't. I think they know we're gonna pay for it either way, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so they start, even the Ryan Garcia Haney fight. Like, I don't know if you saw the pricing on the tickets when they first released them. I see they starting to drop them now. But when they first released it, everyone was complaining, like, "Hey, man, like, really? Like, y'all want us to pay this much for this fight?" Like, so I think they actually listened, and it was like, "All right, we got to lower these tickets, or we ain't gonna sell these motherfuckers out." But a lot of times, shit, they don't have to do a lot of things, and we still gonna pay for it. Now, I'm guilty of it. I'll complain about a certain fight and still pop up at the fight.
You a business owner, and I'm not gonna get too deep as to what you do, but you know damn well you can't treat your customer a certain way. Like you gotta treat your customers so good that they going, yo, I can't wait to give you my money again.
Because they can take it somewhere else.
Exactly, as opposed to giving me a fight and I'm gonna pay for it. Yeah, I'm gonna pay for it until one day I'm not. I'm like, you know what? I'm done with this sport. And I've seen people do it. I've seen people go, I'm done with this sport and get into UFC, or I'm done with the sport and only watch casually when they were a hardcore. And then once sanctioning body starts getting brought up, they're like, you know what? This is why I don't watch the sport. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that the business sometimes spills over to the fans so often.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, my bad. I'm reading. This is my first time really doing it on these streams, so I'm just reading some of these comments.
Oh yeah. Definitely. Let me know. I'll put.
I
some
see.
up.
My man say Emiliano Vargas. Yeah. I like him too. I didn't know if I should say him because I know he repping Mexico. I think he was born here probably.
Yeah,
but his father's
born
legendary. Here. Yeah, so I guess yeah, definitely. That's a fight that I want to see with Abdullah Mason. I hope they become like attached to each other. I think that's a great fight. That's actually my number 1 and 2 over there prospects at top rank.
And I'll bring up 2 other Americans, Keyshawn Davis and Raymond Murataya. Those are 2 guys who a lot of people are high
I don't look
on.
are they prospects though? Are they, because they kind of in the contender stage now?
True. I was just mentioning them just as young American. You know what I'm saying?
I like Keyshawn.
Yeah, I'm particularly higher on Raymond Murataya. I think that guy. I from the first time I saw him, I was like, "Who is that?" I need to see more of that guy.
You was the first one that I know of all the hardcore boxing guys I talked to. You was the first one that I know that was saying his name when people was like, "Who?" You know what I'm saying? Like,
I kept telling everybody, and then Truth was like, I want to feel like it was the second guy, because I told him, yo, watch the fight. He went, watched it, and came back to me like, bro, that guy is good.
Yeah.
And then he had one shaky performance, and it kind of, you know how it is in boxing.
That first step up that he had, I think.
Yeah, he got dropped.
He got dropped.
I think it was in the first round. I had interviewed him right after. He told me he didn't really warm up properly, so he came out cold, got dropped. And then he was like, you see the rest of the fight.
Yeah, he shook it off and bounced back, which I like to see. I didn't see nothing wrong with that,
Yeah.
Shit gonna happen in the fight, but he pushed through it, and then he stopped the guy.
I believe, he did stop him to the body.
Floyd
Yeah,
Schofield. Yeah, I like young Floyd too. And Floyd Schofield want the smoke.
yeah, and he popping his shit. So
Yeah, yeah, he want the smoke.
yeah, his pops does a little too much, but that's all the fathers. That's
Yeah,
that Angel Garcia, Robert Guerrero, uh, Floyd Senior, all the boxing dads. I'll be feeling like do
hmm
too much,
Yeah,
So I'm not.
I try to give the boxing dads a little bit of grace because I know if my son say, "Hey, I'm boxing," and y'all gonna be like, "Yeah, this the worst guy of all." This
Yeah,
the
I'm
worst
like,
one of
yo,
them all.
like you imagine, like you got your son, you training your son or whatever you are with your son, and somebody will go, yeah, I think this guy will knock him out. Like now, you're not even being disrespectful. That's just your opinion, but you just saying somebody gonna knock out my son. It's a little personal there.
hmm
So
Yeah.
I'm like you. I give them grace, although sometimes guys do go out over the line. You know, we just recently had something with Ryan's dad go over the line. Angel Garcia was going
hmm
crazy. Robert Guerrero's dad, I think he went the craziest. Talk about Mayweather being
Yeah.
women be like so they have crossed the line, but I do give them some grace. I do give them some grace. I'm like you. I'm like you. Somebody brought up Elijah Garcia. That's another American
Oh
that
yeah. Yeah. Well, he's not a prospect. No, he's a
no for
champion
sure.
right now. So
No, no,
I believe don't he
no.
got an interim belt?
I think he got the silver WBC silver or something.
Okay. Okay.
So he's
Yeah,
working
but
his
I
way up
think
to
he'll be a
W.
champion soon though. Like I actually I like him a lot, man. I like him a lot. I want to see
He,
them match him up against somebody.
mhm. He impressed me a lot in his last fight against what's
Resendez.
the Resendez, yeah. And I had picked Resendez because I knew Resendez was tough, aggressive fighter, and I've seen Elijah Garcia fight multiple times. We actually saw him
hmm
fight live at the Frank Martin Michelle Rivera fight. I don't know if
hmm
you remember.
No, was he on that card?
He
Elijah
was
was on
on
that
that
card.
card. He was
Okay.
on that card. He was on the off TV portion.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
as I'm walking in, is the round. I walk in the round that he knocked the guy out just started. And he's like, boom, 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 and he stopped him. I was like, man, that
Yeah.
that
So
was
I missed
impressive.
him then. That's what that was. I missed the fight.
Yeah, and he's on. Somebody says he's only 20 years old, so he's another young
Yeah.
guy
Another
who.
young guy, bro. Very young.
Yeah, 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 for sure, for sure.
Yeah. We
Somebody
got
brought
some
up.
young guys. For real.
Nah, nah. There's young guys, and it's just a matter of the promoters
You got
putting them
Bam
in position.
Rodriguez,
Another great young American
future
who's
Hall of Famer.
for sure at this rate for sure. And that last one he had solidified him as I feel the best in that division. To be honest with
hmm
you, because Sonny Edwards ain't no hoe. I know he a weird looking guy. Whatever he's, whatever you think of Sonny Edwards, he can fight, man. That guy
Yeah, he
can
can fight.
fight, and he came and he beat him clearly. He did his
Oh
thing.
yeah, he
So
beat
I
him down, man.
definitely.
He wasn't close.
By
But
the
then you
way,
got David Haney's 24, 25. So you got some young guys. Like it's some young guys.
no, no, I see. The more we talk it out, and I do think Raymond Ford. I know he's a champion, so I'm bouncing from prospect to like contenders and champions. I
hmm
do think he has, after that last performance, he has a lot of people wanting to see him again.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
someone whose name is going to come up on Twitter Spaces a lot more, and when people call up to the boxing voice, they're going to be asking for his name a lot more. And I'm not so sure he
yeah.
has
I
the.
called everyone out last night about it because I can remember a time where it wasn't many. I know I was like one of a few people like ringing the Raymond Ford bell. Like this guy's nice. And everyone's
Yeah,
like, nah, he ain't got it. But then after that one performance, now they was like, oh yeah, he beats everyone in the division. Like, so it's like,
yeah, no,
okay, yeah. At
I don't
130,
think.
they was talking about at 130. Like, they're like, yeah,
Yeah,
he beats everyone. I can't see when he go up, no one at 130 is gonna beat him. I'm like, damn. Just a year ago, yeah, I was like, nah, this guy's trash.
what I think happened is he was being matched so tough
hmm
that people were like concerned as to just how good he was, as opposed to giving him credit for these tough wins. It's kind of uh like Rohan Polanco coming up. The guy's only 11-0, but you look at his last three fights, those guys well, the guy he fought yesterday was undefeated, but the two guys before that, those guys were tough journeymen. You know, not got those guys each had one loss. They weren't like
Hmm.
journeymen who just was there for a paycheck. They were there to win the fight, and he beat them both clearly.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's kind of I feel like similar things were happening with I guess to a different degree because Polanco's been a lot more dominant. But I think they were matching Raymond Ford tough. He wasn't looking as good because he's fighting tough competition. It's hard to look
Hmm.
good when you're facing real guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and he fought like for instance, the fight against Eddie Vasquez.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, he I thought he lost that fight. I definitely thought he lost that fight. But if you look at like Eddie Vasquez style, no one is going to look good against him. You know what I'm saying? No one. I don't care who you are. He went out there and arguably I thought he beat Joe Cordina. I thought he won that fight. You
I
know,
was waiting for you to
he's a
finish.
pressure fighter. Like he one of them guys. Like it's like fighting Sean Porter. Like, are you going to be able to look pretty against Sean Porter? No, you're not. It's going to be a rough fight.
Nah, I listen. I agree. As far as I thought Cordino won that fight, I can see you having a Vasquez winning. I thought Cordino won, but he could have won that Ford fight, man. He could have won that Ford fight, and he had a tough fight. And who hasn't on the way up? Even Mike
Hmm.
Tyson. Even
And he got better for it.
exactly. Now, I picked against him this last fight. I picked Kolmatov to win,
Hmm.
and you know, as you guys saw, you guys understood why I could make such a pick because this was a good fighter.
Yeah.
And he went through hell from losing early first 3-4 rounds, whatever it was, to getting some momentum, to losing some more rounds, to getting the stoppage and going through adversity. And he probably
Hmm.
wouldn't have won that fight had he not been matched so tough.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree
Mhm.
because he's seen it before. He's been through adversity already. And that's like
Exactly.
my thing. Like you move these guys, like for instance, David Morrell. David Morrell, I think he's a special fighter. I believe he's a special fighter. You know, when I look at him on paper and on paper he's special. But what if he keep fighting these guys he's fighting, and then now you got to fight David Benavidez? He's
Yeah.
not gonna be. I don't care who he's sparring in the gym, anything like that. In the fight, you ain't seen that yet. You just ain't seen that type of guy in front of you yet. And that's one thing that I like or you got last night, Troy Isley, for instance. Troy Isley had some tough fights. He
Yeah.
was, everyone was down on Troy Isley, like, he's just not it. He ain't got power. I'm afraid he's just not in it. And it kind of seemed like he was on that top ranked hot seat where it's like, okay, yeah, you got to perform or you out of here. And then last night he had his best performance of his career
Yeah.
against a
And
veteran that fought some champions, you know?
I was
So,
just gonna say that he's also a tough guy. That guy's not a bum.
hmm yeah,
So
you know,
you know,
he got stopped by Darrell and someone else stopped him too. Another champion. Like he lost to a few champions.
nah, for sure, for sure. So I know you know me. I'm the voice of Dominican boxing. So yesterday, your favorite Dominican boxing prospect, Rohan Polanco,
Yes,
he
sir.
fought. Talk to me what you like about Polanco, and also what do you make of his performance last night?
Man, I like Polanco. I think he does everything good. I'm still trying to find what he's great at, but I don't see many like flaws in his game. But I do think he got a lot to work on, especially after last night. I think
Yeah,
I can see him having trouble with movement,
yeah.
and that'll work worry me. But the fights I saw in him where the guy's not just the best mover, like he's not the guy's trying to move. He cooking, man. Like I like his combos. I like he's pretty quick too. I think he's underrated. Got underrated quickness or like deceptive quickness, and he got pop, man. He got pop. He got pop, and he a dog, bro. Like I like him everything about him, bro. Like of course he got some work to do. But that's gonna come with a few more fights and everything like that.
11 fights.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I
So
want to see him up this killer instinct a little bit
yeah,
because I think he
I
could have
think
got that guy out of there early.
yeah, he has very good composure, and I
Hmm.
think sometimes
Is he
that's
too calm?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
all the time because the two fights before that he got stoppages. Uh, but I just think he tries specifically to stay calm, and it seems like he throws everything hard, but his volume is low, which is why he doesn't get tired. At least he hasn't gotten tired yet.
Yeah.
You know, I think he. That's why, like when he lands a punch, even if he doesn't drop you or stun you, it lands real hard. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like he'll throw, let's say, 40 punches, but those are 40 hard punches in that round, or
Yeah.
30 punches. And I do think he needs to up his activity and understand not everything needs to be hard. Also, keep that if you're gonna do the shoulder roll, keep that right hand up because he was getting caught with that jab on a
Mm-hmm.
consistent basis last night. So he has little things here and there to clean up. Uh and
How old is he?
I believe he's 24, 25. I'll double check right now.
Okay. Yeah, I like him
But
a lot though. Definitely.
I know. That's definitely why I wanted to ask you about him. You know what's funny? He's 25. He's
Okay.
25. He's 5'10, so he's a big boy.
Mm-hmm.
5'10 at 140. And he's told me before, man, that he blows up after a weigh-in. Like he's told me he goes up 20, 25 pounds after a weigh-in. So I kind of don't want to see him at 140. He's never made 140. I'm looking at his career. He's never made 140. The lowest he's ever fought at was 143. I think he should just fight at 47, leave that 140 dream alone. Give yourself all the hydration you can. You don't need to dehydrate yourself. I think
Mm-hmm.
there's benefits to doing that in terms of like, oh yeah, you're gonna be the bigger man, but it gets to a certain point where that becomes dangerous. I would love to see him stay at 147. And
Yeah.
that's a glamour division. There's money there.
Mm-hmm. Somebody
So
said ask him about De Los Santos.
yeah. I was getting to that. Let's throw that. So Edwin De Los Santos, this is somebody me and you liked. We liked his energy on internet, chasing after the Shakur fight. He gets the Shakur fight, and I don't know what the game plan was. I don't know what happened, but needless to say, everybody, and I want to say, including himself, was very disappointed with the effort he put out there. So, what do you make of Edwin De Los Santos' performance, and what did you think of him before the fight and his chances in the fight?
I thought before the fight, I was big on Edwin for a long time. I
Mhm.
think he's number two when as far as come power in that whole division, in the whole lightweight division. I think he no one hits harder than him probably besides Tank. But that fight was disappointing. Like I was disappointed as well as everyone else.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm not gonna dwell on it too hard because I know a bunch of people done already shitted on him and everything about it. I just feel like I hope, and I made this point to someone the other day that hopefully he taking the Boots approach. Boots didn't look good against Karen with that movement and everything like that. He didn't look good. But it was like an interview, like maybe a week after that, he did it. I think Bozy may have did an interview, but he was saying, that's all they working on in the gym right now, just movement and dealing with movement, cutting off the ring, this, that, and the third. And that's one of the things that to go back to Polanco, that Polanco did well. He was cutting the
Yeah, he
ring
did
off,
really well.
like he was doing good when it comes to that. Like, and that's what I hope De Los Santos is doing, is working on that type of stuff because now everyone knows, oh, I just need to be a mover against him. Don't stand in front of him. So if he's working on that, I still think that he can be one of the top guys. Like I'm not,
No,
I'm not the type that after a guy take one loss, I'm like, oh yeah, he's trash or this, that, and the third. It's like, no, he fought a style that he made him look terrible. He fought a
I,
style that made him look terrible.
I wouldn't take it that far because honestly, I scored the fight 7-5 for Shakur. So as hideous
Hmm.
of a fight it was a close fight. I'm not gonna. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he put a good effort. I'm just saying, he still somewhat made it a
I was
close
telling
fight.
everyone, I said to me that fight was a draw. But hey.
Yeah, you know. I just think I didn't understand one the energy he was coming at him, through the social media. and then Shakur's a boxer. You know that going in.
Mm-hmm.
So what, you're gonna box him? So like nobody's gonna throw a punch. And then even when clinches would happen, he was just kind of satisfied with the referee breaking, and Shakur was throwing punches in between, and that's how he
Yeah.
was stealing rounds.
Yeah.
And I'm
Exactly.
like, bro, did you come here to win?
And then toward the
And
end of the fight, Shakur had him on the back foot. It was kind of. I'm like, what's going on here? Like, why are
I
you on
don't
the
get
back
it.
foot? Shakur's not even throwing punches. Like, I don't. It was just a weird fight for both fighters. Like for both fighters, it was just a weird fight. It was
It
almost
just
like they were scared of each other, like power or something like that. Even though we know one guy got major power, but it was almost like neither one of them wanted to get hit or something. I didn't understand. It was confusing fight for me.
Yeah, it was very frustrating, and it was very disappointing because I honestly feel had Edwin got that win, and to be honest, the scorecards were fair. Like I was like, there's no way he's gonna get a decision. It's kind of like when Hector got stopped with Tank when
Hmm.
they announced the scorecard, and I think two judges only gave him one round, and the other one gave him two. I was like, he wasn't getting a decision anyway. This when they announced the scorecards for the Shakur Edwin fight, I was like, hey man, like had Edwin just won one or two more rounds, he would have won the fight.
Yeah,
That's what made it even more disappointing. It's like you were gonna get a fair shake, and you decided to not fight your
he
fight.
just had to bring some dog out. If he would have brought some dog out, he could have stole some rounds. Like, but
Yeah,
he just looked content, like to just say, "Fuck it, I can't catch the guy. It is what it is."
I also think his corner had a bad game plan. Like that was a bad game plan. And then there was one round where he forgot to put the mouthpiece in his mouth. It's like, yo, bro, this is a championship fight. You making little rookie mistakes at this level. This is main event ESPN. Like, the or Thursday before the NASCAR, whatever they was trying to promote, and this is what you're doing.
Mhm.
That was very disappointing.
Yeah,
About
I would love to see him come back strong. I would love to see him bounce back strong, get a good win. I want to see, yeah, exactly what someone just said right there. That's what I want to see next is Edwin and Rayo rematch.
Yeah,
That
I
should be
want to
next.
see. I want to see Edwin Rayo rematch on Tank's undercard, and then I also want to see this other Dominican on that undercard. I want to see Puello versus Kenneth Sims at 140 on that same undercard. I feel like those are two fights that make sense. Two fights that the winner will have a chance at the winner of the main event. Who knows down the line?
Mhm.
And I like that fight. I like those fights, and I think they make sense from an entertainment value and from a level value. Like as far as with these guys, these are quality guys. You're not gonna get some sloppy punching, some guys who don't look like they don't know what they're doing in the ring.
Right.
Kenneth Sims is coming off Fight of the Year candidate last year. We know Edwin's a puncher. And Rayo's a puncher coming off potentially knockout of the year last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Definitely.
like to me, that's an explosive undercard that can definitely
And that'll
entertain
put
people.
that'll put Edwin right back on the in the favor. Because like I said, boxing is a what have you done for me lately type of sport.
Sure.
Everybody down on him right now.
Mm-hmm.
And if he go out there and spark Rayo coming off Rayo's biggest win, then he right back in the discussion. Just that quick.
He needs to know his identity, man. I feel like they trying to make him a boxer. We saw that in the Adorno fight too. They had him boxing too, and he I like the way he fought the first 4 to 5 rounds, but then after that he was just content with winning the rounds, and
Hmm.
it was unfortunate. It because I'm like, bro, you gotta entertain, you gotta you got to make your mark. You got to make an impact. And boxing, especially when you don't speak English, you're not, you know, like you don't have no favors in this boxing game. You're not a big
Hmm.
attraction. You got to score knockouts. That's what happened with Triple G. Triple G had trouble speaking English, uh,
Hmm.
but he was knocking people
He was
out,
knocking motherfuckers out.
and he got fans. Is literally Mexicans for Triple G fans and all that. Yeah, because he was knocking people out. Yeah, I don't have to get to who he knocked out, but I'm just saying he was knocking them out nonetheless, as opposed to who they were. So, um, nah, man, I definitely want to see that fight, Rayo versus Edwin. and
Mm-hmm.
and uh, and another one that I just threw off the top of my head was Kenny Sins versus Alberto Puello. Those are two fights that I would love to see on that undercard.
Speaking of Dominicans, did you hear anything about is that true about Matias and
Elvis.
Elvis fighting down there in Puerto Rico?
Yeah, it's being discussed. Elvis is definitely one of the potential opponents for Matias. Kind of working out the money, kind of working out, is Elvis going to be a matchroom fighter moving forward?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you know, as you know, there's a lot of variables to this boxing shit.
Yep.
So that's kind of what they're working out. But as far as I know, Elvis is in the lead for that to get that fight. Two things that concern me about that fight for on Elvis's side is Elvis is somebody who rehydrates a lot. He's a big boy.
Yeah,
He's
he
a
big
big
guy.
boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's not. When I met him, I've met him several times in person, and he doesn't look. When I meet him and I meet Puello, they not the same size. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they fight in the same division.
And
So
same weight. Yep.
that 10-pound rehydration that the IBF has concerns me for Elvis's sake. He, in my, if I was to just go by how he looks, he blows up 15, 20 pounds easy. And then there's he's also not as active. He doesn't throw as many punches, and his activity as well as far as in the ring. I think he last fought in February. Oh no, he last fought like in June of last year. So if he fights June of this year, that would be a whole year without fighting. And then the activity, he doesn't really throw punches. And Matias, that's what he does. He's gonna be overwhelming you with punches and throwing
Yeah.
punches. And if you're a little dehydrated and you already someone who doesn't let his hands go, it could get ugly. But
Mm-hmm.
he does have punching power, and I definitely don't
I see
discount him.
holes in Matias' game though, but we'll talk about that another. I see a lot of holes in Matias' game. I don't think he's a complete fighter. I'll say that. But if you want to try to go man to man, toe to toe with him, you in for a long night.
Yeah, because he has a good gas tank, he has good power, and he just doesn't seem to get discouraged much. He seems like punches don't really discourage him. Not saying that they don't hurt, because every punch hurt, but it just seems like he takes the pain and he goes, "All right, let's keep that going."
Mm-hmm.
Uh, One thing I do say is Elvis
Yeah, he's
does
definitely
punch.
a brawler, man. He a brawler, like, but I think he have trouble with movement. Like, I don't think Matias has the best footwork. He's out of position a lot. If you see him, like, even when if you look at that fight against Ergashev was scoring a lot early, but
That first one.
he would Matias got this way of luring you into a war, and then you try to go to war with this guy, and now that's a mistake. That's just a mistake. Don't go to war with him. He
Yeah,
punched hard. Like, I don't know if he got one punch power, like one punch knockout power, but he just got that kind of like Benavidez. Benavidez just overwhelms you. Like, it's like, damn, so many punches. Like, done, you know what I'm saying? He just eventually you're gonna crack, you're gonna fold.
a lot of it is conditioning, man. A lot of it is the guy keeps putting pressure and pressure and pressure. You go, all right, let me just hit him a few times so he gonna learn to respect my power. And then he doesn't, and he just keeps putting pressure and pressure. That fatigues you not only physically but mentally. And
Mm-hmm.
I worry that some of that will happen with Elvis. But one thing I will say is I'm a big believer in Elvis's power.
Mm-hmm.
Elvis is very heavy-handed. He throws in combinations. He's not just a one-punch guy. He throws that right hook, right uppercut, left hand combination. He also throws it to the body. He throws in good combination. If you're just gonna come straight forward, he's gonna land his shots. And yeah, you may have a good chin, but your face might be breaking up. He might break your
Right.
nose. He might cut your eye. He may catch you with something you don't see and you fall.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's an interesting matchup, but what worries me is that 10-pound IBF rehydration clause, which I hate. That does worry me how it would affect him.
Mm-hmm.
But he has a good team around him. he has, strength and conditioning coaches and nutritionists and all that, but your size is your size. You know
That's
what I'm
actually
saying?
one of the things I like about the IBF though. I actually like that. I think you know what I'm saying it tells you that you want to come over here. You know what I'm saying fighting your weight class.
I think that 10% of the weight it should be allowed. So he fights at 140, it should be 14 pounds. I think
Yeah, yeah, I
10%.
can see that.
Yeah, because you making it
Because
10.
10 pounds is kind of strict, you know. But
Yeah, that's 10 pounds across each division. Is like, how is a
hmm
122 pounder? Oh yeah, you giving him 10 pounds. That seems appropriate. But for a 140 pounder, that now you cutting it close. I feel like because these are bigger guys you talking about. I feel like
hmm
10% of the weight, whatever you are. All right, you fighting at 175. All right, you can move up 17.5 pounds. All right, you fighting
yeah,
at 140, you could move up 14 pounds. I feel like that's more
yeah, I
appropriate.
like
But
that. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Nah, man. But yo, Gritty, man, I genuinely appreciate you hopping on and talking boxing. When we've been rocking out for over an hour,
hmm
uh, I know you're busy, and I don't want to take too much more of your time. I know you got some things you got to
Like you
do.
know, it's always good to kick it with you, bro.
Nah, I appreciate you, man. I'm definitely gonna have you on more often. I always appreciate the conversation. I love your perspective. Also, one of the things I like about you, this is the thing I like most about you is you're not an internet guy, and I'll explain this. I started off by saying you one of the most influential Twitter boxing, all this, all this. One thing I'll say is how you come across when you tweet, how you come across when you talk on the Twitter space, how you coming across now is the exact person when you meet them in person is who you're gonna get.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
me and you know, we've met people and they totally different than how they are on the phone. I pride myself in, hey man, you come meet me in a fight, meet me at whatever. You're gonna get this guy, the same guy you see here. You're gonna get him. You're gonna talk. I'm gonna talk to you. I'm gonna respect you. You're gonna respect me. And if we're gonna debate, we're gonna debate. If I get passionate on a space, I'm gonna get passionate in person. You
hmm
know, and that's just the way I am. You look like your picture. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't no weird stuff going on where how I've met some of these dudes from Twitter, and I'm like, "Yo, what's up?" And it's like, "Yo, who is this guy? Like, is this guy even the same guy I talk to every day on the Twitter Spaces?" But I
Yeah,
definitely
man.
appreciate
That's the message. Shit, be yourself, bro. Be yourself.
facts, yo, man. I appreciate you, man. Anything you want left set out, or like a take that maybe you wanted to discuss that we ain't get to before we hop out.
No, we pretty much discussed everything. You know, the state of boxing, pretty much in the country and everything like that. I do
Mhm.
appreciate you bringing me on. I come on more too, bro. Like I said, this is my first one of these lives. You know, I just usually just get in the comments and watch the shit. You know, I've been a long time one of your first supporters. I feel like
Uh,
when you started the channel.
mhm.
So you know, I'm happy you back doing your thing. You know, I was just getting on you not long ago. Like, what the fuck you been, man? Why you ain't been doing the lives and shit?
Yeah,
You know
you
what I'm
already
saying?
know I had gotten a new job. My schedule now
Mm-hmm.
loosening up. My schedule now loosening up a bit. And by next month, man, the content, I'm gonna keep pumping out the content. I'm gonna definitely interview a lot more people that other people not interviewing. Like, yeah, like I could interview, let's say, Samson Lukowitz, but there's 100 Samson Lukowitz interviews. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely gonna be searching out and finding these interesting boxing stories and bringing them to YouTube where people are gonna be like, damn, this story wouldn't have been told if it wasn't for this channel.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be the next chapter of my channel. I'm gonna still, support the Dominicans and interview them and try to create awareness for them for the Dominicans that are subscribed to the channel. But I'm gonna bring some new flavor to the channel and I hope it's well received. I'll say that.
Yeah, bro. Like, you know, you already know if it's somebody or it's something I can do for you or somebody I can connect you to, just holler at me, bro. You
Nah,
already
nah,
know.
will
Like,
do. Will
it's a lot of interesting people coming up in boxing right now that I would like to know their story and everything like that. I'm seeing a new trend that I like in boxing in the country right now is some of these smaller platforms. You got Pro Box. You have uh the overtime series out there in Atlanta that they did last year that was
Yeah.
fucking good. It was great, you know what I'm saying? And you got these guys down there in Houston now with the Red Owl boxing. I don't know if you're familiar with Red Owl. They did a couple shows in
I'm
Houston.
familiar with Overtime. I'm familiar with Pro Box. I never heard of that one.
Yeah, it's that same type of platform where they're gonna be doing shows in the same arena. You know, this same arena down there in Houston. They're gonna keep rolling them out. And the man who owns it, who started it, he's pretty cool. He got a lot of good ideas. I spoke with him just over the internet. But I told him I'd meet up with him in person when I get down to the next Red Owl because I missed the last one. I missed the last Red Owl event. So I told him I'd make the next one and kind of holler at him and just he just seemed like he could be a good figure in boxing, you know, as far as on a developmental stage,
Yeah,
which
I
is
think,
important.
yeah, boxing is definitely missing like that minor league, like back to for lack of a better term, the minor leagues back when 2009, let's say, was Showbox and
Showbox.
Friday Night
Mm-hmm.
Fight.
Yeah, Friday Night Fight, man. Yeah.
Neither of those two at like around 2009, 2008. You remember that era.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, neither of those two
Golden era for
platforms,
me.
yeah, neither of those two platforms you had to be aligned with the network or one week it was a top ranked show, the next week was a Golden Boy show, the next week after that was Gary Shaw, was Lou DiBella, was you know Dan Goosen, was all these guys, and you got some of these guys pop, you're like, oh shit, this guy Andre Berto, I like him, and all of a sudden he becomes a champion, and he was on Showbox. Like Showbox, they had the statistic as like how many fighters lost their O on here, how many fighters eventually
Yeah,
became champion, and it was like a dope shit. And
because they
sometimes
was
when a
always
fighter,
good matchups on there. Like it was always good matchups, and
yeah,
that's what I think Pro Box is developing a reputation for. You know, like of having tough matchups, bro. Like every other Wednesday. You know, it might
yeah,
be like I've learned about guys from watching. I said one earlier, Najee Lopez. Like I got on him from Pro Box. You know, that's
yeah,
how I
no,
got familiar with him. Like, okay, who's this guy? He nice. You know what I'm saying? Then I go start watching some shit of his. You know what I'm saying? But like that's just a part of like I said, and it's free on YouTube. You know, like so it's just that's part of the developmental series. I think that we missing just giving
I
that
definitely
platform for
agree.
them type of guys to come out there and fight and get their name known to the public.
Yeah, no, and again, in a sport that's expensive to be a fan of, for it to be free on YouTube, man, there's no excuse why you can't watch. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you've been watching, we've been getting good fights on that card on that platform.
Hmm. I want to
It's
answer
not
my
like
man question down here. He said, "Quick question before you go."
you think Ryan should back out of his fight or get pulled out by his team. He seems not to be okay mentally.
Yeah, I do. I do. I've been vocal about that. I don't think this guy should be fighting, man. He just doesn't seem like he's in the right state of mind. You know, I don't want to get on here and like joke about the drugs and all that stuff like that. I just don't think he's in the right headspace to be fighting. And I think Golden Boy know that too. That's why they flashing Barboza at the damn press conference. You know what I'm saying? And Barboza spilling the beans about, yeah, I'm the replacement for if this guy don't show up to the fight. You know what I'm saying? Like then I guess they told him something. He had to fix it and say, oh yeah, well, I just don't have an opponent yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, but they're gonna match me up with somebody as a co-main. Like, no, you here to introduce yourself as you just signed the Golden Boy, and hey, I might be replacing this guy because we know. And this is not the first time we've seen Ryan spiral down here, but now it seems like he's just spiraling out of control for the public to see.
Yeah, like I think he left his wife, and then now he's been posting pictures with other women, and he just recently, I don't know if he's kidnapped or faked the kidnapped, or then
That shit's weird, man.
he's talking about fighting Jake Paul, and it's like, bro, what's going on? Like,
Yeah. And I don't know if that video old of him pulling up on Jake Paul, is that old or that's some new skit shit they just did. Like,
well, I want to say that's old because Jake Paul isn't he in Puerto Rico?
yeah,
Is
he's
it
in
like,
Puerto Rico. That's why I'm like, how the
yeah,
hell did he get down there? Like, but yeah, I don't know. It's just weird, bro. It's weird. He's doing random Twitter spaces at midnight drunk at the fucking clubs and shit like that. Like, it's just not a
yeah,
good look, bro. And I think something's going on with him and he might not he don't want he shouldn't go into this fight.
His voice is like he sound real different. I don't know what's going on. There's something going on that we don't
I
know.
know what's going on, but I don't want to say. You know what I'm saying? I know what's going on, but I don't want to say. You know what I'm saying? Devin actually said it. You know what I'm saying? When he said, "What's up? What happened to your voice?" When he at the beginning of the press conference, he was like, "What happened to your voice?" Then he said it right after that, like, "This is what it is." Like Ryan
it,
didn't say
it,
it, but Devin said, you know what I'm saying? Like you need to lay off. But yeah, that's definitely a symptom. But I
it
think,
was
like I said, even if he's whatever, I don't want to bash that part of it because you know, we all got things that we be dealing with and everything like that.
for sure, for sure.
And this a kid that he came out before talking about. He remember he pulled out a Devin fight before because he said had mental, he was having mental issues and he took a long time away from the sport and came back.
Yeah,
So
that was the Javier Fortuna fight that he had
that was the
about.
Fortuna fight.
Yeah, 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 but
Okay, yeah,
he ended up circling back and fighting Fortuna. But
yeah,
yeah,
you're right, you're right.
yeah, I remember that. I remember that. And I'm not gonna make light of the mental health situations just because a lot of people was with the Fortuna situation, what just wasn't believing him. And I feel like I always was on that line. Like, I don't know, man. The guy may be telling the truth. Like
I just don't
Fortuna,
think he want to get he. This would be a bad loss for him to take. You know what I'm saying? Like you can see it. Like this would be a bad loss just because who it is. You know what I'm saying? It's not like if he would have lost to his last opponent, Dorte. You know what I'm saying? Like just have been like, okay, Ryan. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But him like losing to Haney and you already got knocked out, and what everyone is saying you quit against Tank. You know what I'm saying? So it's like shit. It's just not gonna be a bad. It's gonna be a very bad loss for him.
yeah,
He's not going. I don't have him with a really a chance to win the fight
no,
against Haney. You know what
hell
I'm saying?
no.
So I think it's
I'm
just a paycheck for him.
debating. I'm debating picking Haney by stoppage. And Haney's not a puncher. It's just I just think Haney's such a dedicated kid. Doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, and this guy got on stage and said he smokes weed and drinks, and he's like, yeah. And most of the people in this crowd do that too. But it's like, yeah, most of the people in that crowd ain't boxers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I could smoke and drink today, right now,
hmm
right after I get this live. You know, I'm not going to, but I'm just saying I could go have a
I am.
whiskey. I could go drink and whatever what I do for a living is not going to be affected. What you do for a living, you're gonna get hurt, bro. Like
Yeah.
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Uh,
Exactly, man. Like and it's like he's saying that in defense of because they saying he's doing harder stuff than that. And he's saying, oh no, I only do this, but it's like, bro, you shouldn't even be admitting that, like that you only do that,
you
like
only drink and fucking smoke weed. That's the only thing you do as a professional boxer. The
right.
most
Then he said, oh, I'm not on coke. I had 20 black coffees before I came in here. Like, come on, bro. You're not you're not making a good case. Like he's doing everything but saying I don't want to fight. He's doing everything else to get pulled out of the fight, I feel like.
I would
Besides
love I would
feeling
love to hear
publicly
from Derek
embarrassed by
James.
saying I don't want to fight him. It's like he don't want people to say, "Oh yeah, you ducked Haney again." Like, but you start complaining about the venue, about the location. Oh, I don't want to do the fight in New York. This is a Vegas fight. Then you publicly post a picture with you and the PR lady at at Golden Boy. You publicly post y'all text message about lowering the price of the tickets. Like you doing everything, then you go out there having these random late night lives where you drinking and you fucked up and you letting random fans call in baiting you into all type of shit. Like it just I don't know. I think he should pull out the fight.
Yeah, man. I won't take it that far. I would love to speak to Derek James, and maybe I would love to speak to Derek James privately more so than on an interview wise. I mean, I would love an interview. Don't get me wrong, but I would love to be like, yo, what's going on? Like, is this kid okay? I would love to like just really like man to man. Like, be honest with me. I won't say
Yeah.
nothing. I would love to just have a conversation with Derek. Like, yo, man, the shit is alarming. The shit is alarming. Like whether he did get kidnapped or he faked it, that's alarming. Either one, it's scary. Like, bro, what are you doing?
I think Ryan is setting up his misfits boxing type of career. You know, like I think he'd do good over there. He'd make a shitload of money, which is really seem like that's more so what he's concerned with is making the money. He'd make a lot of money over there. He get to do all this like YouTube internet type of drama that he's been manufacturing lately. I think it'd be a good look for him, but I think more importantly, he just need to get his mind right, man. He gotta get his mind right. I don't think he want this fight, bro.
Yeah, man. Shit is crazy.
I
Shit is
mean, he
crazy.
pulled out of it, you know what I'm saying, to go after the alleged, you know what I'm saying, him and Floyd Mayweather little link up. Remember he was like, I'm fighting Rolly, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But then Rolly was like, fuck you. You already said no to me. I'm going to fight Pitbull. And then so he came back to fight Haney, but I don't know. Like it's like I don't think he want to fight. I don't think he want to fight this fight.
I mean, I don't understand why he was signed there, do these press conference, come in there on a horse and do all types of shit. It's just, I don't know. Either this guy's pulling the best whack job promoting to, to get people interested in this
Yeah,
fight, or
he can
he got
become a
something.
genius.
Yeah, he could like because there was a moment, and I'm not comparing him to Muhammad Ali. I'm just saying there was a moment where people thought there was something wrong with Muhammad Ali when he was doing all this with Sonny Liston. There was
But
something
Muhammad Ali is an Olympian. He's always
true.
been good. You know what I'm saying? Like we always knew Muhammad Ali was good. I
True.
compare it more to the Tio and Tio's fight
With
with
Martin.
Taylor.
Oh, with Josh Taylor,
With
yeah.
Josh Taylor. Remember the lead up? Everyone was like, "Oh man, this guy, he ain't right." You know what I'm saying? Like Tio just not right in the head. He had the weird interview with Top Rank where he was just like he was just spiraling out of control. Him and his dad arguing. It just looked like Tio ain't in the right mind. And I picked Taylor because I thought Tio just wasn't in the right mind. But then he go out there and have a terrific performance, and it's like, oh yeah, he was trolling us the whole time. Like he was just trolling us.
I just think he's crazy, but
Yeah, that
sometimes
too.
crazy like a fox, maybe. But because he still has said some wild stuff after the fight.
Oh yeah.
Not necessarily in regards to Taylor. I'm just saying in general, he's made
Nah, in
some.
general, yeah, he's been saying some crazy shit for a long time now.
Yeah, but he is a good fight, which is weird. It's just fucked up thing about Tio, man, is like such a good fighter, but like he does and says these crazy stuff where I'm like, I
Even
I
after his
don't
last fight.
I can't bet my chips on you, bro. Like I can't really like I there was a moment when there were like the four kings. I was like Tio's the best. Out of those four, Tank, Ryan, Haney, Tio, I was like, give me Tio. He took that loss to Cambosos and it did something to him, man. It did something to him. He
Yeah.
just he just completely changed as a person, as a fighter, his approach, and everything. It's
I
just
think
he
it's just a
changed.
confidence thing, bro. I think it's just a confidence thing.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, man. But yo, bro, we've been on an hour and a half, man. I told you an hour and I kept you here an hour and a half, man. I hope I didn't get you in trouble with the fam.
No, not at all. Not at all. Like I
But
said, they
man,
think I'm out here just chilling, probably getting blazed or something.
nah, man, I really truly appreciate you hopping on, and we'll do this more often, man. I love the vibe, I love the conversation, and the people were definitely fucking with us out here on the comment section, and it's been positive reaction, and
Yeah, I see, man. I
the fans
appreciate the
want you back.
love, man. I appreciate
Nah,
the
man.
love. I see somebody asking for my social media. I just do Twitter, bro. Just Twitter. You catch me on the boxing Twitter.
Yeah,
Gritty was here. That's WUZ here. Yeah, holla at me, man, and I make sure I get you back.
yeah, man. Go follow my man right here. Gritty was here. That's GrittyWuzhere.
Yeah, we just be shit talking. You know, this is what we like to do, man. We like to talk boxing all day.
Yeah, we talk boxing. We talk a little bit about everything, but yeah, definitely boxing is definitely the main focus we talk about. So for sure, man, go follow him on Twitter. And make sure y'all hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the like button. This has
Yeah,
been
hit
one of
that
my
like
favorite.
button.
Hit that like button. It's free. And if you want to support even more, send a super chat or go to BroadwayJoel.com, buy yourself a Dominican boxing shirt.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I had mine on the other day.
Oh, I appreciate you. I
My boy been
appreciate
trying to get me running some miles lately, man. He a pro. He trying to make his comeback. So I told him I'd get out there some nights with him. But I know I can't mess with these boxers, man. I was
you. You
I
smoke
was
too
hurting
much.
for 3 days.
Yeah, you
He tried to
forget
get
you're
me out
not 20
there
no
the other day. I was like, nah, bro. Like I'm doing something. I can't make it today, man. I'm still hurting for another day.
more, bro. But now, my man, yo, I appreciate you hopping on, bro. I'll talk to you later.
All right, bro. Peace.
All right, fellas. Everybody, have a good one. Peace.